Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so you've brought in some really interesting source material today. We're looking at Tickz. It's a mobile trading app, often described, I see here, as a broker app for trading. Our mission, really, is to dig into this, figure out what platforms like Tickz mean for investing, and crucially, what you need to watch out for.
Exactly. And looking at the sources, Tickz seems positioned to, make financial markets less daunting.
Yeah.
It's aimed at both newcomers and, more experienced investors too, helping them learn, helping them participate. The core idea seems to be accessibility and efficiency.
Right. And hopefully by the end of our chat, you listening will have a much clearer idea of what Tickz actually offers and maybe some important thing to think about with these kinds of platforms. Okay, let's jump right in. So digging into Tickr specifically, why can people actually trade on it? The sources mention stocks, obviously, but also commodities, gold, oil, and currencies too. So Forex trading, it's quite a mix, all packed into one app, it seems. Now, thinking about beginners, someone just starting out, is there something specific that helps them, get their feet wet without risking everything immediately? Our sources mention a stock market simulator. It comes with virtual money, apparently. How important is something like that for someone new?
Oh, it's incredibly important. I mean, that simulator feature, it's directly linked to building financial understanding and, crucially, managing risk. For anyone starting out in trading, getting a feel for how markets move, developing that kind of emotional control, it's essential. A tool like this is, it's invaluable. It lets you try things out, learn from mistakes, all without any real financial consequences. Think of it like a flight simulator for trading.
Yeah, a flight simulator, that's a great analogy. You definitely want practice before flying with real passengers, or in this case, real money. That safe space is key. Okay, so after someone spent time in the simulator, feels a bit more confident, what happens next? What features does Tickz offer for, actual live trading? Well, the sources point to real-time quotes, which, of course, you absolutely need for timely decisions. And it mentions trading signals. These are often like automated suggestions for trades, right, which obviously need careful thought. And importantly, tools for managing broker accounts securely. Things like encryption, maybe two-factor authentication stuff that's just non-negotiable today. Then there's this thing called copy trading. The idea seems to be you can follow successful traders and just automatically copy what they do. That sounds appealing, almost too easy maybe. It does raise questions, doesn't it, about just following the crowd or understanding the risk you're taking on.
It absolutely does. And that ties into the broader social trading aspect the sources mention. Tickz is described as an app-based social trading platform. So it's creating this kind of community, right, where users can see what others are doing, learn from each other, maybe collaborate. Copy trading might be a shortcut, sure, but the social element ideally encourages a bit more digging into the why behind trades, fosters shared learning. But you're right to be cautious. Just blindly copying without understanding the strategy or your own comfort with risk, that can definitely lead to trouble if you're not also doing your homework.
Makes sense. It definitely sounds like it makes trading feel less isolated, more connected. Now let's talk costs. The sources highlight some pretty attractive points here. Things like no fees for making trades, free deposits and withdrawals, a low minimum deposit too, and trading with small amounts. That all sounds very user-friendly, especially for beginners. But, in finance, no fees often makes you wonder, how do they make money? Wider spreads, maybe? Selling order flow. Do the sources give any clues about Tickz's actual business model?
That's a really good question, and it leads us straight to a critical point that the sources do make clear. Tickz, with all its features, the simulator, the data, copy trading, the social side, it primarily acts as a platform, an interface, really. It actually works with a separate underlying broker to handle the trades. So the Tickz app itself, it's not the brokerage firm holding your funds or executing the orders. And this model is pretty common, actually. You see it a lot because it lets the app company focus purely on the user experience, the tech, the tools, making it slick and easy to use. Meanwhile, a separate company, which has to be regulated, handles the serious business of executing trades, managing accounts, keeping funds safe. But, and this is really the key takeaway for you listening, it means you absolutely must know who that underlying broker is. Do your research on them, because ultimately your money and your trades are with that brokerage firm, even if you're interacting through the Tickz app.
Okay, right. So just to make that crystal clear for everyone, Tickz provides the snazzy front-end experience, the tools, the community, but it partners with a separate brokerage behind the scenes, and that's who actually handles your money and executes your trades. That's a vital distinction. So let's quickly recap what we've unpacked about Tickz. It comes across as this very accessible, feature-packed social trading app. It's got that simulator, which is great for learning. It seems to offer low cost, at least in terms of direct fees and minimums. And there's that community aspect.
Exactly. And the really crucial point we want you to walk away with is understanding that Tickz is a platform that works with a broker. You need to understand that whole setup, the cool features of the app, yes, but also the regulated company that's actually managing your investments. That's essential. So as you think about platforms like Tickz, maybe consider this. How might these kinds of accessible social-first trading apps change the way traditional investing works? And maybe more importantly, what does it mean for our own financial know-how, our financial literacy, as more and more people start engaging with markets through these newer models? Something to chew on.